So Paul, heart of the machine, the engine room, it's, well, the first thing that strikes me is it's big. I mean, I have to keep reminding myself we're on a 50-footer, and yet it's big.
That's right, and so this is a 110 horsepower Yanmar sail drive. What we do is we calculate the size of the engine that's required for the yacht, and then we always go up a size. And the reason is, of course, is at times in extreme conditions you're grateful of the torque of a bigger engine, and we also look at fuel efficiency as well. So yeah, that's it. Big engine room required as well.
And you can get in there. It looks like there's plenty of space to actually get in there.
You can absolutely. And so one of the advantages of having the U-shaped galley is you get this lovely private walkthrough back to the master cabin. And you get this incredible access into the engine space itself. So here you can see the engine is right to hand. We've got these two large opening doors here, and we've got almost a full height door here behind me. And so let's give you a quick tour of the engine room itself. So we have the engine here, we have the gearbox. We can see that the raw water inlet, because it's a sail drive, actually comes through the leg of the engine, and so the seacock is literally just located there. So any issues, we can shut that off and it's straight to hand. Here we've got the sea chest that we can look into. This supplies all of the raw water to all of the onboard systems, such as refrigeration, air conditioning, etc. That's all separate, which means we have redundancy in the system as well, and we can look straight down into the sea chest and even out of the bottom of the boat just to check it's clear. Up here we've got the Raycor fuel filters. So these are the primary fuel filters to remove the coarse debris out of the fuel. So we've got genset here and engine here with convenient drip trays for if we're draining the water off here. You can see everything is beautifully installed and neatly labelled as well. In this space we've also got the fresh water pump. We've also got the grey water discharge pump as well. And then behind me here you'll see that these are our two sea chests that we can look into to make sure they're clear as well. This filters the raw water going into the engine and the generator. We've got the aircon raw water pump here. You'll see all the exhaust system as well. And this isn't the only bit of access. We've got access in the forward part of the engine room and over from the galley as well. And right behind me here, through here, so I don't know if you can follow me around here, but here is our 8 kilowatt genset. So again, right to hand, I can go through here, it's all in there. We've got the fire suppression here, and we've got all of the controls and well lit and neatly installed and labelled as well. So what we've done is we've got probably about 80% of all of the systems on the boat located within this space. And other systems then are put very close to this space with ease of access, because we understand that, of course, whenever you're sailing one of these boats for long offshore trips, you need to be able to get great access, and that makes your life a lot easier to maintain the boat.
It certainly has got plenty of really good access. Well, what intrigues me is that anybody who's sort of maybe familiar with some of the previous models, 56, 54, some of those 485, there was nowhere near as much space as this in the engine room. They're all okay to get into. How have you managed to achieve it on this? What's happened in the rest of the configuration of the boat?
Combination of different things. I mean, in terms of the access itself, not having a walk-through galley hugely helps, because of course on the bigger boats, what you'd find where I am now, you would have a workshop cabin and then a full height door in, and generally that the generator was in front of the engine. So combination of having a sail drive also massively helps, because the sail drive, then you don't need the prop shaft running aft to have to extend the engine room back, but also it means you can put the generator behind the engine. And believe it or not, although it feels as though we're after the centre line of the boat, that engine is right in the middle of the boat, pretty much. So when you see them in build, that's one of the first things that goes in. All of the systems go in first, and that's right in the middle of the boat. So we've got all the weight in the middle, which is where we want it as well. Plus also with the older designs, where the max beam is different to what this yacht is, and then so the max beam on this yacht is actually further aft. That gives us an amazing master cabin behind me, but it also opens up the space here to allow us to have a wider engine room and more space here for systems.
So, Paul, under the floor, so the first bit looks like the water maker to me.
That's exactly what it is, Matt. And it's controlled from here, so you can see it's all together. And we've even got a handy little quick start guide here, laminated and ready to go. This is a desalator water maker. It works off AC as well as off DC as well. Again, it's kind of worth making the point that we understand that it's really important to be able to get to all of the machinery on board the boat. And as you can see here, for me to maintain this, I'm literally floorboard up and I'm straight on top of the whole of the system here. So I'll point out a few of the features. The first thing we've got is on this side here, this here drives the high pressure pump which is here, and the high pressure pump then effectively takes salt water and it pushes it at high pressure through these platinum membranes here, and then through the process of reverse osmosis the salt disappears and what comes out and into the tank is absolutely pure water. So as you can see, all nicely installed, labelled, and also easy access to every part of the system.
So, Paul, we're in the saloon, under the floor, quite a familiar sight across the Oyster range, but talk us through what we've got down here.
Sure, so this is the central bilge space here, and if we start at the bottom and work up, I think that's probably the way to show you around the space. So right at the bottom there, you'll see the black pipes that are coming into a tank there which has an inspection hatch. And what we've done on this yacht is we've centralised the grey water system, the grey water being all the water from the sinks, the galley sinks, and from the showers as well. Effectively, what happens from all of the sinks and the showers on the boat, it flows down into this central tank, and then in here there is a rising float switch that effectively, when it gets to a certain level, it then discharges over the side automatically. Now we can isolate that because increasingly some marinas are actually getting a bit twitchy about discharging grey water whilst in a marina, so like the black tank. So if necessary we can hold the grey water on board and then we can sail the yacht offshore and discharge them there. That's actually in the keel stub, so it's using that space to actually to actually use the space, because quite often the space is just left and there's nothing in there at all. And then there is a sump that's under that effectively then all of the bilge water comes through underneath this tank and runs back to the bilge pumps, which are actually behind me. Moving up, on this side here, you'll see that this is our Combi inverter and battery charger as well. And so that sits here. You'll see we've put splash guards on. So just in case there is any downflow of water, the idea is to keep the water off anything electrical, and you'll notice everything that we do is tails down, because again, any condensation, if these are installed the other way up, what happens is it follows the cable down and actually into the breakers. These are breakers. The remote switching for that is actually over on the chart table itself on the breaker board, but effectively when you push the switch and you hear the click, what you're hearing is this switch engage here. So under me, speaking of electrical items, this is our battery box here. As you can see, it's airtight and also it's vented over the side by an active fan. So therefore, if there's any gas escape from any of the batteries whilst they're being charged, then that's going to be vented directly over the side as well. So that's the central bilge space. Moving over here to starboard, what you'll see here is this is our fuel tank. So here we carry about 900 litres of fuel. As you can see, the inspection hatches are fantastic. So obviously we can check the level of the tank from the Oyster Command system, but nothing beats looking through an inspection hatch and seeing the level of the fuel within the tank. Nothing beats being able to look into the tank and actually visually see the level of the fuel that you have on board. There's also a dipstick as well, and then here you can see you've got the shut-offs for the fuel as well. So fuel on this side. If we jump across to port, so under UMAT, this is the water tank here. So capacity of about 650 litres. Again, you can look directly into the water tank and check the cleanliness of the tank. So what we've done is we've centralised all the weight in the right part of the boat, which is over the keel, effectively. And again, so outside of the engine room, really this is the only other systems within the boat. So we've got the tankage, we've got the batteries, we've got the charger, we've got some breakers, and then apart from this space, it's just the water maker that's down in the walkway through to the master cabin.
And all very easy to get to.
All very easy to get to. Exactly.
Just pop the floorboards and you're in.
Pop the floorboards and you're straight in. Yeah.
Nice.
So if you want to check the main bilge level in here, effectively all you need to do is you lift the step here and you can see directly down into the keel sump. This is one of the advantages of having a stub keel, is we get a very large sump in the middle of the boat, which keeps the boat very, very dry because all of the water runs down into this central point here, and there's lots of capacity to hold a lot of water. Now, of course, we don't necessarily hold a lot of water on board, so this is what we're looking at here. This is the bilge pumping arrangement here. So you can see down the strum boxes on the bottom so they don't get blocked. This is a automatic bilge pump, and effectively when the water gets to a certain level it kicks the bilge pump in and keeps the level in the bilge at a certain level. The other thing that's in here as well, as you'll see on the other side here, there's also an air pressure switch, and that's for the high level bilge alarm. So should you get any type of flooding within the yacht, or if you get a leak or whatever it may be, you're going to get an early warning before it becomes a mega issue on board. So it alerts you to come and check the bilge to see what is going on. So that's how you check the level of the water in the bilge. So finally, under this bilge space here, what we're looking at is we're looking at the hydraulic pumps here for the hydraulics Selden system, the Selbus system. So these are the hydraulic pumps that control the in-mast furling, they control the backstay, they control the vang, and any of the hydraulics on board. So there's two pumps, and you can see the size of the pumps are very, very small, and this makes them very, very quiet. To the point that whenever you're reefing or unfurling the main, you can hardly hear the hydraulic pumps. So it's a really neat system, and especially in the middle of the night when you're off watch and somebody needs to take in a bit of sail, you don't even hear that going on. But as again, just to reiterate, all within easy access, you can sight it, you can see what's going on, so if anything untoward happens, you can get in and look at the system and check that everything's okay.